Imagine the Red Sea, night, silence, and in the distance the lights of yachts gently rocking on the waves. On land you see the desert, harsh, unforgiving, a place that for thousands of years belonged to caravans and Bedouins. And suddenly, on that desert and that sea, a vision appears that is supposed to change the history of tourism in the region. This is Sindalah, an island of luxury meant to be the first part of Neom open to the world. In the renderings, it looks like a cross between Monaco and the Maldives, a marina for hundreds of yachts, a golf course wrapped in the blue of the sea, futuristic hotels that look like spaceships, restaurants serving fusion cuisine, and beaches where the global elite comes to play. Saudi Arabia promises that Sindalah will become the new social hub of the Middle East, a place where celebrities, business people, athletes, and politicians meet. Why does it matter? Because Sindalah is supposed to be Neom's showcase, the first fragment that actually gets built and starts operating. This is where Saudi Arabia wants to prove that its dreams are more than glossy renders in brochures. This is where the first tourists are meant to come and then tell the world, yes, it exists. It's not a mirage. But Sindalah also raises questions. Will a luxury island really change the lives of Saudis? Or will it simply become a playground for wealthy outsiders? Will the elite from Europe and America choose a brand new Saudi island instead of Monaco, Dubai, or Ibiza? And will luxury on the water be anything more than another symbol of pride? A shining bubble in a country that still struggles with everyday problems? Abdul Rahman looks at Sindalah with pride. This will be our gateway to the world. When people see this island, they'll believe in Neom. It will prove that we can build luxury on a level no one expected. Aisha asks a different question. But is this luxury for us? Will our children ever relax on this island, or only look at it from afar? The episode about Sindalah is a story about contrast. On one side, yachts, golf courses, and five-star hotels. On the other, questions about the meaning of building luxury in a place where life for centuries was simple, modest, and tied to the rhythm of the desert and the sea. Because Sindalah is not just an island, it is a stage on which Saudi Arabia wants to put on a show titled, "Look, we are ready for the 21st century." The story of Sindalah's construction does not begin on the island itself, but in desert construction camps. Thousands of trucks, containers, and ships brought in concrete, steel, and glass. Sindalah may have been a natural island in the Red Sea, but to turn it into a hub of luxury, its heart had to be rebuilt. The land leveled, the shores reinforced, the foundations laid for hotels and marinas that can withstand storms and the pressure of the sea. The biggest challenge was the marina. Saudi Arabia wanted Sindalah to become a home port for the world's most expensive yachts, the kind that today dock in Monte Carlo or Dubai. That meant building deep breakwaters, quays capable of handling vessels over 100 meters long, and a logistics system that could service both fuel and the very particular needs of billionaires. Every meter of waterfront meant months of work. Cranes, divers, engineers toiling in the heat and underwater to build something that is supposed to look like a fairy tale. The second challenge was hotels and infrastructure. Architects spoke of design of the future, but in practice it meant hundreds of thousands of tons of materials. Prefabricated elements were shipped in from Europe and Asia using modular construction technologies. Walls and roofs arrived ready-made by sea and were assembled on-site like giant building blocks. All of it aimed at creating, in a short time, a resort that would dazzle the first visitors. And then there is the technology hidden underneath. For a luxury island to function, it needs invisible systems: seawater desalination, power generation, air conditioning networks, wastewater treatment plants. This is the island's heart, the part never shown in brochures but without which Sindalah could not exist. In practice, a small industrial town was built here, hidden behind the scenery of luxury. And who built all this? Here the question of labor returns. Just like in Dubai or Qatar, much of the work was done by migrants from Pakistan, Bangladesh, India, and the Philippines. They poured the concrete in the heat, welded the steel, and carried the materials. You won't see them in promotional photos. There you only see finished villas and shining yachts. But without their work, Sindalah would have remained an empty island. Abdul Rahman looks at Sindalah proudly. It proves we can create luxury from nothing. It's our business card. Aisha adds quietly, but behind that business card there are hundreds of people who will never rest on this island, even though it was built by their hands. The construction of Sindalah is a story of contrasts. On one side, architecture, technology, and the vision of luxury. On the other, hard labor, sweat, and the effort of thousands of workers. It's proof that behind every neon brochure, there is another invisible world. A world of people who built a luxury they themselves will never experience. At first glance, a day on Sindalah looks like a scene from a movie about billionaire life. Morning begins in apartments with panoramic views of the Red Sea. Glass walls let in light reflected by blue waves, and specially designed terraces make every guest feel like they're in a private paradise. Staff brings in breakfast, fresh fruit, caviar, Ethiopian coffee, and bread baked on site in ovens designed by European masters. Every detail matters here, from Italian linen to designer furniture ordered from studios in Milan. After breakfast, guests choose among attractions meant to define Sindalah's brand. Some head down to the marina, where 100-meter yachts await, floating palaces with helipads and private pools. Others go to the golf course grown on what used to be desert, and now looks like a green island surrounded by sand. Others still choose diving, because the Red Sea's coral reefs, according to the brochures, will be one of Sindalah's greatest attractions. In the evening, life shifts to clubs, restaurants, and private villas. The island becomes a stage. Concerts by international stars, fashion shows, private banquets open only to invited guests. That is when Sindalah most closely resembles Monaco or Ibiza, except in an Arab version, newer, shinier, more futuristic. But beneath this surface lies another everyday reality, one that never appears in marketing materials. It is the world of thousands of workers who make sure paradise runs smoothly. Their day begins before dawn. Cooks from the Philippines and India slice fruit and fish delivered overnight by supply ships. Cleaners from Nepal and Bangladesh prepare apartments so that every guest feels like the first person ever to stay there. Technicians from Egypt and Jordan check the air conditioning and cooling systems, because in a place where the temperature hits 40 degrees, even a short failure could turn luxury into a nightmare. Their lives unfold in the shadow of luxury. They don't live in villas or hotels, but in modest dormitories outside the main resort zone, in areas closed to tourists. For them, Sindalah is not a paradise. It is a workplace. They don't swim in the sea marketed to tourists as the cleanest in the world. They don't play golf on emerald fairways. Their daily reality is shifts, schedules, and repetitive tasks that keep the luxury machine running without interruption. Abdul Rahman sees it differently. This is our chance. Sindalah will show the world we can lead in tourism, that we're no longer just a country of oil and desert. Aisha replies, but who will really live this luxury? Wealthy foreigners who will be served everything on a golden platter, or ordinary Saudis who will only see these scenes on TV. Everyday life on Sindalah is the everyday life of two parallel worlds. The world of tourists, full of yachts, wine, concerts, and extravagance, and the world of workers, quiet, invisible, but absolutely essential. These worlds only touch for a moment, at the hotel reception, at a restaurant table, on a yacht deck. Then they separate again, as if they belonged to two different planets. And in that contrast lies the true face of Sindalah. It is an island of luxury shining for the world, but its daily reality is anything but uniform. It is a place where wealth and labor meet every day, yet never actually mix. If Trojena was meant to be Saudi Arabia's answer to the Alps, Sindalah is meant to be its answer to Monaco. The heart of the island is not the hotels or the golf course. It is the yachts and the marina that is supposed to become one of the most prestigious in the world. Even the visualizations are striking. Breakwaters encircle the harbor like arms, protecting it from the Red Sea's waves. Dozens of berths, for mid-sized yachts and for giants over 100 meters long. These are not ordinary boats, but floating palaces. Their decks hold pools, spas, helipads, and even small cinemas. For the global elite, owning a yacht is no longer a luxury. It is a requirement, a status symbol. And Sindalah is where Saudi Arabia wants to attract those who currently dock in Cannes, Saint-Tropez, or Dubai. The marina is meant to become a new Mecca for billionaires who choose the quieter, more exotic Red Sea over crowded European coasts. But a marina is not just piers and berths. It is also service and support without which yachts cannot sail on. That is why Sindalah is planned to have technical centers, repair yards, and fuel stations for luxury vessels. Guests can leave their yachts here for weeks or months, confident that crews will handle everything, from polishing decks to organizing a 100-person party. The marina is also meant to be the center of social life. Regattas, fireworks, private events sponsored by global brands will take place here. Along the waterfront, boutiques, bars, and restaurants will open, where in the evenings the elite will drink champagne and watch the sunset over the Red Sea. In the brochures, you see women in luxury evening gowns and men in suits walking onto illuminated yacht decks. Yet, as always in Neom, there is another reality alongside this one. For the marina to function, an army of workers is needed, from sailors to cleaners, from mechanics to cooks. They are the ones who quietly prepare the yachts, scrub the quays, and make sure luxury remains luxury. Their work begins long before a billionaire sets foot on deck and ends long after he has disappeared over the horizon. Abdul Rahman speaks of the marina with pride. This will be our Monaco, but better. The richest people on earth will come here. Sindalah will become their second home. Aisha responds coolly, but is it a home for us? Will our children ever sail here, or only gaze at yachts they will never own? The marina and yachts are the heart of Sindalah, a heart beating to the rhythm of luxury and money. It is a calling card meant to show that Saudi Arabia has entered the club of global elites. But it is also a heart pumping blood into a body built every day by people whose names no one will ever know. If the marina and yachts are Sindalah's heart, then its soul is meant to be its beaches, golf course, and nightlife, designed so that the elite feels they don't have to choose between the Caribbean, Monaco, or Dubai. Everything luxurious is supposed to be available in one place. The golf course on Sindalah is not just any course. In promotional materials, you see perfectly trimmed greens contrasting with desert scenery in the background. The grass is meant to be irrigated with desalinated seawater, and designers insist the course will be ecological and environmentally neutral. Critics ask, however, can you really talk about ecology when keeping grass alive in a desert climate consumes millions of liters of water? Yet golf is not only a sport, it is a language of elites. This is where billionaires sign contracts, business people build relationships, and politicians hold discreet talks under palm trees and setting suns. Golf on Sindalah is not a game. It is a theater of negotiation where the ball and club are mere props. The beaches are just as carefully crafted: white sand, bars serving drinks from around the world, private zones with staff at every gesture. In the photos, you see women in designer swimwear and men tanning on yachts moored just off the shore. The message is clear. Saudi Arabia can be just as open and worldly as Ibiza or Saint-Tropez. In the evening, the island changes rhythm. When the sun slips below the horizon, nightlife begins. Fusion restaurants, concerts by international stars, fireworks, private parties in villas and beach clubs. Brochures promise the most exclusive parties in the region, gatherings of celebrities, athletes, and billionaires. But behind all of this, as always, there is another side. Beach and bar staff work late into the night, often on their feet for 12 or more hours. The green golf course requires constant care, and the grass admired by players survives thanks to irrigation systems more expensive than an average household in the entire Tabuk region. Abdul Rahman describes it with pride. We will finally have a place that draws the elite from all over the world. This will be our Ibiza, our Saint-Tropez, only better. Aisha answers bitterly, but is it really ours? Won't Sindalah's beaches become simply a stage for outsiders, while for us they remain a forbidden image? Golf, beaches, and the entertainment life of Sindalah are a promise of luxury at every hour of the day. From morning rounds of golf, through afternoon swims, to night concerts under the stars. But they are also a symbol of an island that looks more like a theater of luxury than a place of real life. Official Sindalah brochures are full of phrases like sustainable development, green tourism, and climate neutrality. The island's designers stress that all hotels, marinas, and golf courses will run on renewable energy, solar panels and wind farms integrated into the larger NEOM system. Water is to come from advanced desalination plants, and wastewater will be treated in underground facilities to avoid polluting the Red Sea. On paper, Sindalah looks like an ecological utopia, luxury in harmony with nature, but if you look closer, the picture becomes less pure. Maintaining a marina for hundreds of yachts means constant refueling with diesel and aviation fuel, because even if people talk about electric boats of the future, today's billionaires mostly sail on vessels burning thousands of liters of fuel a day. The golf course, the island's proud centerpiece, needs millions of liters of water each month to stay lush and green under a scorching sun. Every luxury spa, every air-conditioned suite, every beach concert means massive energy consumption that is hard to call truly neutral. The Red Sea, toward which Saudi Arabia is directing its tourism, is one of the richest coral reef ecosystems in the world. Biologists warn that intense yacht traffic, chemicals, and artificial beaches may destroy what is most valuable: the sea's natural beauty. Building the marina itself required dredging the seabed and constructing breakwaters that changed local currents. Abdul Rahman repeats the government line: Sindalah is tourism of the future. We're proving that luxury doesn't have to harm nature. This will be the first island where billionaires can live in harmony with the environment. Aisha smiles sadly. In harmony with the environment? Or in harmony with marketing? Because the real environment, the reefs and the sea, doesn't need luxury, just peace. Sindalah shows how easy it is today to sell an illusion of ecology. On one side, solar panels on hotel roofs, on the other, yachts burning oil. On one side, promises of a green future, on the other, golf in the desert. This is not pure ecology, but premium greenwashing. Luxury wrapped in green words. For the world, Sindalah is meant to prove that tourism and ecology can be combined. But the question remains, can luxury ever truly be ecological? Can an island built on the sea with a golf course and a super yacht marina really be a symbol of sustainability? Or is it rather a symbol of how far we are willing to go to satisfy our dreams of luxury? In the pictures, Sindalah looks like a paradise open to everyone. Advertising brochures show smiling people walking along the beach playing golf or sipping drinks in beach clubs. But behind this image lies the same question that appears with every NEOM project. Who is all of this really for? Officially, Saudi Arabia says Sindalah will be open to the world. Tourists from Europe, Asia, and America are meant to come here, spend money, and build the country's image as a modern luxury center. But on closer look, it's clear that an average Saudi citizen is unlikely ever to play golf here, rent a yacht, or spend a weekend in a villa costing tens of thousands of dollars per night. For most citizens, Sindalah will be more symbol than destination, an island they see on TV and social media, a place where foreign tourists and the domestic elite have fun. It is an enclave of luxury, inaccessible to the majority, even though it is built in the name of national development. Even further from that luxury stand, the workers who built and who will serve Sindalah. For them, the island is not paradise, but a workplace. They do not dive on the reefs, do not lounge on the beaches, do not party in the clubs. They spend long hours in kitchens, service rooms, and warehouses, ensuring that tourists' experience remains flawless. Their idea of luxury is a free afternoon once a week in dormitories far from the sea. Abdul Rahman speaks of this with pride. The world will finally see that Saudi Arabia can create luxury. This place will become our calling card, our gateway to the future, Aisha replies calmly. But whose calling card is it? The billionaires who sail in on their yachts? Or the people who will never set foot on this island? Even though they built it with their own hands, Sindalah is a project that reveals the gap between luxury as pictured and social reality. For the global elite, it is another stop on the map, an island to visit between Saint-Tropez and the Maldives. For Saudi Arabia, it is a PR tool, proof of modernization and openness. But for ordinary people, it is a distant dream, a paradise seen through glass, never touched directly. Sindalah does not just shine, it also divides, into those who can step onto its stage and those who must remain in the wings. Sindalah was conceived from the start as a showpiece. It was never meant to be just another NEOM element hidden in renders and master plans. This is where the world was supposed to see the first proof that Saudi Arabia's grand visions are real. Yachts, golf courses, luxury villas, and concerts under the stars of the Red Sea, all of this was meant to make people believe NEOM is not a mirage. But Sindalah is not just an island of luxury. It is also an island of questions. Who will truly benefit from its riches? Saudis, who might see in it a new symbol of national pride. The global elite, who will add Sindalah to their list of paradises, alongside Monaco, the Maldives, and Dubai. Or those who will never walk the beaches or golf courses, yet work every day to keep the luxury running like clockwork. Because Sindalah, like every part of NEOM, is a stage. On stage, we see yachts, beaches, and celebrities. Behind the scenes, we find workers, engineers, cooks, and cleaners. On stage, we hear music and laughter. Behind the scenes, hard work and fatigue. Two worlds existing side by side but never meeting. Abdul Rahman sees in Sindalah proof of courage. This is our window to the world. Now the yachts will sail to us. We won't just watch them on TV. Aisha reminds him, but luxury that does not include the majority is not the luxury of a nation. It is the luxury of a facade, an illusion that divides instead of unites. Sindalah is therefore a symbol of what NEOM really is, a dream that shines and divides at the same time, a project that shows the power of vision and money, but also the weakness of a system in which luxury belongs to a few, while the burden is carried by many. The island will shine. It will shine when the first tourists take photos and billionaires raise glasses of champagne on their decks. But bright light can be blinding. The question is, will Sindalah become a true star of the Red Sea, or just a firework that fades into darkness? Because NEOM does not end on this island. This is only the beginning of a larger story. And the next chapters lead us from the sea back into the desert, to the grand picture of NEOM, in which all these projects, the Line, Oxagon, Trojana, and Sindalah, are meant to form a single city of the future.